Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Steven Soderbergh's 2024 Sundance premiere, Presence. Unfortunately, I forgot to buy Sundance tickets the second they went on sale last year, so I had to skip out on this movie while all my friends got to enjoy it. Now that it's officially come out over a year after its premiere on January 24th, 2025, I can finally say I've enjoyed it. Presence is a fresh take on the haunted house genre by narrating the story from the ghost's perspective. It's an innovative approach and very reminiscent of one of my favorite movies from last year, In a Violent Nature. Now, before I hop into my review, if you want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, I really appreciate it. As a warning, this review will contain some major spoilers, so please continue at your own risk. Also, if you find this shirt offensive, I'm sorry. My girlfriend gave it to me as a gift, and I actually think it's really funny, so I'm rocking it today. Lastly, if there's anything you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will do my best to get to it. Thank you. I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. The film centers on a family, parents Rebecca and Chris, and their teenage children, Chloe and Tyler, who relocate to a new suburban home after some personal tragedies. If you think that's a cliche movie setup, you are right. However, this story is portrayed in such a unique way that you can look past a lot of the cliches. While there are definitely moments where the dialogue could have been a lot stronger and not so cheesy, for the most part, I appreciated this movie. However, I do want to mention I don't think an average movie viewer will like this movie. More importantly, if you've seen the marketing material for this movie, then you have been grossly misled. Despite some horror-esque elements, this is not a horror movie. It is a family drama, and given the unique way this is filmed and shot, some viewers might get bored. I didn't get bored, but I also know this movie didn't perform well at Sundance, which is why it took so long to get distribution rights. I don't mean to dog on this movie, but before I move on to things I liked, I want to lay out a couple more flaws. Presence can feel a little convoluted and confusing. There are a lot of scenes in this movie that don't come to completion. They simply cut to black and then a new scene starts. While these scenes might feel ambiguous, they help hint at the larger underlying family drama. For example, Rebecca has been committing white-collar crimes with her job. It makes Chris nervous that they might not be around long enough to care for their children. I don't think narrative details like this are easily explained, but you can piece things together as the movie progresses. Major spoilers here, but I think the question a lot of people are going to have walking out of this movie is, how was the brother the presence? It might not make sense at first, but there is one line of dialogue in the movie that helps explain this phenomenon. It's quick and it might go over your head, but the medium says that time in the spirit realm moves differently than in reality. The best way I can explain this is with an example. In the movie Interstellar, there is time travel. The concept of gravity crossing dimensions, including time, allows Cooper to send a message to his daughter. In a similar way, Tyler interacts with Chloe and his family. I like these narrative details, but again, they can be hard to piece together and sometimes feel convenient. I think what makes it harder to piece details like this together is the characters and their writing. Their dialogue at times can be distracting and feel so unreal. For example, Ryan, Tyler's friend, is a weirdo narcissist. I don't think he walks a fine line between charming and creepy. I think he's full-blown creepy. The way he talks is so menacing and the things he says are very cold. I don't think it's a believable persona outside of Reddit, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. All I'm saying is that the dialogue is a little weird. The final negative thing I'll say about this movie is that it had a very slow start. It's only an hour and 25 minutes long, but the first 35 to 40 minutes were a slow burn. Given how this was filmed, I thought I was going to be super disappointed. However, at some point, I don't know what point, the movie hooked me and I was genuinely impressed with the ending. I thought the climax made the first third half of this movie worth it. Some people might disagree with me, and that is okay. That said, I think this movie has a lot of good things going for it. For starters, I like the tone. The psychology of feeling watched is fun to view. Our brains are naturally wired to be sensitive to others' gazes, and that survival instinct or spotlight effect can be unsettling at times. Seeing this story played out from the ghost's perspective serves as a metaphor of the family's internal and external surveillance. It sheds light on their personal traumas and relational strains. It's a very introspective view that avoids traditional jump scares and embraces a more psychological approach to horror. This method helps explore complex emotions and adds depth. I think that's where this film really starts to shine. Lucyliu plays Rebecca and does a fantastic job. I think she gives one of the best representations of an enmeshed parent. Her relationship with her son is odd. It's very very flirty and the dynamic just feels weird. We've seen those weirdo moms before and their interactions are uncomfortable. They brag about how handsome and amazing their son is and how no man could ever make them happy the way their son does. Lucy is annoyingly great in this role, but her best moment is definitely at the end of the film. I genuinely got goosebumps when she realized how shattered her world was without Tyler. It made me feel real sympathy for her. However, I have to remind myself that Rebecca is not a good person. She completely cold shoulders her daughter and is essentially non-existent to her and her husband. When her son needs her, she moves mountains to help him. When her daughter needs her, she says her daughter can figure it out on her own. When her husband needs her, she ignores him for work. It's such a hostile behavior, and I love that Chris brings this up. Eddy Maday plays Tyler, and he's alright. I mean, I guess he's good, but his writing is weird. It's an issue the younger characters have. It's like their characters were written by an adult who hasn't spent much time with Gen Z. Either way, Tyler is one of the biggest douchebags I've seen in a movie. He constantly gets on his sister for being depressed and dismisses her at every turn. He's so rude to her, and I would hate to have a brother like him. Given how he treats his sister, it's almost surprising to see him sacrifice himself to save her. Prior to this, there's a line that Chris says that I think Tyler secretly took to heart. There's a great man inside of you, Tyler. I hope to meet him someday. Callina Liang plays Chloe, and I think she does a good job. Out of all the young characters, she definitely had the best writing. It's not perfect, far from it, but I appreciated Liang's acting much more, and her character was a bit more grounded than Tyler and Ryan. What I appreciated most about Liang's Chloe is her portrayal of trauma. She just lost 2 friends. At a young age, that is horrific. If I lost my best friends in high school, I wouldn't be where I am today. It helps me understand her depression and dissociation, and it explains why she's easily manipulated by Ryan. Now, the real standout of the film is Chris Sullivan. He's charming and fatherly. He's heartbroken and does his best to hold everyone's lives together. In many ways, he's like the father from Hereditary. I especially loved his nonverbal acting, staring into the house, pondering and processing the supernatural events. They were all great. Also, I actually liked his dialogue. Again, his "I'm not mad, just disappointed" line to Tyler was incredible. His line to Chloe that bad decisions tend to be permanent decisions is also great. That line helps Chloe disengage from Ryan and set boundaries. So Chris is a great father. The thing that kills me though is that because Rebecca is so cold and distant with him too, he feels alone and weak. He doesn't think he's strong enough to keep his family together. That's absolutely heartbreaking and very human. So Chris, you helped carry this movie. Visually, I enjoy the voyeuristic experience. I love the sweeping camera that moves from room to room and peers around corners. I love the way the camera lingers over characters as they're thinking or sleeping. I love the use of an ultra-wide-angle lens to enhance the sense of the ghost's omnipresence. It helps the home become a character in itself and adds an eerie underscore to the film. There's nothing grandiose about this movie, but I love how much effort was put into simply filming this movie in this style. It must have been painstaking. Zach Ryan composed the score for Presence, and it helped enhance the tension and emotional beats. It's not overwhelming and complements the ghost's perspective. It mixes well with ambient sounds and creates an eerie and familiar atmosphere. It fits so well with the film's introspective tone and allows the visual storytelling to prosper. Presence is a fascinating, albeit flawed, exploration of grief and family dynamics. Contrary to the way this film was marketed, it's not a horror movie. It is a family drama narrated from a ghost's perspective. This unique POV brings a fresh layer of innovation to the haunted house genre, supported by strong performances from lucyliu and the standout Chris Sullivan. While the film stumbles with weird dialogue, unexplained narrative threads, and some poorly written characters, its introspective tone, thoughtful cinematography, and psychological depth make it an intriguing watch if you're willing to embrace its unconventional approach. If you're looking for scares, this is the wrong movie. However, if you're looking for a slow burn drama with a unique visual style, this film is probably worth your time. I certainly thought it was worth my time, and I feel okay recommending it. Thank you for listening to my review of Presence. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.